Cowboys. What y'all got to say? Oh, we about to go to the...
Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in your ass.
I thought y'all was beating the world.
Shut up!
Maybe next...
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.
But we the most hated franchise and everybody...
Shut the fuck... Shut... Did I say... No! Oh, shit! Say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else. Say something else.
How about him?
How do you do? Oh Lord, why's my echo? That's kind of crazy. Oh, how do you do? Oh, make sure I got my cigar right. Yeah. How y'all doing now? Y'all welcome to another episode of Head to Head Sports, Cowboys edition. Let me take this off. This hot. I just had to. Oh man, welcome to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host Brian Parker, along with my co-host Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
Another glorious Pittsburgh still a loss.
You know, I'm gonna get into it, but I kind of feel like I was the kiss of death because I was the one when they had like 6 games left, and I'm like, I think they can go 4-2. So far, they're like 4-4.
Remember we had that conversation? You was laying out how easy the teams look.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they're gonna get to 10 and have a winning season because man, I see 4 wins over the next 6 games, and every game they've lost. I'm like,
it was all laid out for them. All laid out for them.
Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. We are streaming live and direct, and I got a new platform that we are on this week, and I'm looking to my left to make sure that we are streaming on it. We are. God is 14 is joined on that platform. Let me announce the other ones first. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And now we are actually live and direct, as I'm looking at it, on Instagram. We on the gram. We on the gram. We is on the gram. So if you are tuning in on Instagram on our @Empower_TV on Instagram Live, you are actually watching Head to Head Sports Live. If you do that, thank you very much. We appreciate you for tuning in. If you don't know, Empower TV has been around for a little bit over 3 years, and we have a site on Roku and Amazon Fire TV that hosts a long line of short films, feature films, podcasts, comedy, all different kinds of things on the platform. But we also air 2 live programs during this time of the year, Head to Head Sports on Wednesdays at 7 with myself and Randall Hargrove here. And then we also have our other live show on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Head to Head with Brian Parker. That would be me. We are on our Christmas break, but we'll be back on the first Thursday of the new year, which I believe is the 4th. And we will be ready to go. We are already in our 4th season of Head to Head and Head to Head Sports. So we do this show every football season, 26 weeks out of the year, to break down everything going on in the NFL, to talk about our teams, but also to give you a chance to talk about your team and just punt it around. The reason we like to go live because we like to do the show with you guys so that you can come in and let us know what you're thinking about what's going on in the NFL and or with your particular team. So as we were just kind of opening up, sorry for all the language, but it was so funny. I had to. I posted this on YouTube the other day, and I was just telling my wife, man, that little clip got more likes than any other thing I posted on YouTube, and I didn't even tag it. I just put it on there so that I could share it, and just kind of left it sitting there, Rand, and that thing's gotten so many views. It's crazy. So I'm just gonna leave it up there and let it keep going because is just hilarious because my Cowboy friends, man, and I got one that he's just like delusional because he's like, because when I put that video up and then I said, y'all all right out there? Y'all okay? Because I mean, after they beat Philadelphia, man, you would have thought the Super Bowl, that was the Super Bowl. They were going crazy. They said they're high-fiving. They talking about going to the Super Bowl. What's going on? Courtney Starks, official. That's my man up in New York City. What's going on, Courtney? We gotta get you back on the show sometime soon so we can talk about all the stuff that you keep doing in the community. I know he's doing a toy drive right now, or it's done it already, but good dude up there. But yeah, so we I got this Cowboy friend and he's posting, yeah, I'm still here, B. I ain't going nowhere. DC Pharrell, we still good. Bro, I tried to tell him it ain't a whole lot of y'all saying that right now. I mean, it's funny when they win a game, the skies are blue, the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, everything else, man. But when they lose, oh my gosh. And I keep trying to explain to him that's what makes y'all such a hated fan base, is because y'all go from one extreme to the other. You don't know how to really play it in the middle. And then his wife actually reached out to me and she said, but aren't you a Panthers fan? And I said, hey, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told your husband. Panthers been to the Super Bowl twice since y'all went.
That's right. Twice.
I said, I accept them for what they are today, which is straight bull crap doo-doo. But they have been, so if they've been twice since you've been and they doo-doo right now, what that say about y'all?
You could actually say 2 Super Bowl appearances and another NFC Championship appearance.
Yeah.
Because Dallas does not have that either. Dallas has not been to an NFC Championship since 1996. So
yeah. I mean, look, when we start having to sit there and go, wait a minute, how old is my kid? Has my kid ever seen the Dallas Cowboys go to the NFC Championship game?
Probably not.
No. My daughter's 28. She's never seen them go. Ever. Not that she would watch, but she's not been alive the last time that they went, and she's 28. So, smoke on that, y'all. Listen, it is what it is. And I told him, I said, look, I actually used to like the Cowboys, like the team in and of itself. I said, it's you fans. You fans did it for me. I don't really root against Dak, or it's hard to root against Dak. Dak's a nice, upstanding guy. I just posted a video. I had to share it with you after the thing, where him and CeeDee Lamb was taking time with his kid and doing all these kind of things. And I know he does a lot of things in this community. Off the field, the Cowboys, a lot of those guys are stand-up guys, do all kinds of things. Even when Zeke was with the franchise, I always talked about that. It's you fans. That's it. It is you fans that make it so easy to root against the Cowboys, knowing that it's not the team. I used to love some Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Daryl Moose Johnson. That was my team. Those were my guys. I always love watching the Cowboys and the 49ers go up against it. Joe says, I root against all of them. I feel you. But, I root against them a lot easier now, Joe, just for the simple fact. Joe, I don't know if you caught it earlier. I don't know if you caught it. Let me know if you got a preview, because if you didn't, I'll play it again. If you didn't catch the opening, I'll play it again. But anyway, it was hilarious. It's the fan base that makes it worse. Anthony, yes, absolutely. I hate them with a passion. Yeah, I do too. Just because they go too far, it's like there's no middle ground with them. It's either it's the Super Bowl or get McCarthy out of here. It's we world beaters. Tell me you didn't make a song. Should I? Yeah, because I did it right at the beginning. I ain't made no song. This is all I did.
Come on, Cowboys. What y'all got to say? Oh, we about to go to the...
Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in your ass.
I thought y'all was beating the world.
Shut up!
Maybe next...
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.
But we the most hated franchise and everybody...
Shut the fuck... Shut... Oh, shit. Say it again. Say something else. Oh, say something else. Say something else.
Oh God, I can play that all day. Anyway, I'm gonna put it on loop. Actually, I'm gonna put it on Roku too. Then that was on fire. Just let it play. Oh man, yeah, I had to. It was right after the game, man. It was absolute nuts, bro. I had to. I had to. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was crazy because yeah, you would have thought after they beat Philly. I mean, it was Super Bowl or bust, and I'm telling y'all, it ain't gonna happen. And I kept asking my friends after that game. I'm like, after they beat Philly, I'm like, okay, so what about San Francisco, y'all? Y'all do know that San Francisco is most likely gonna be the number one seed, and you're gonna have to come through San Francisco to get to the Super Bowl. How you feel about that after playing them in the regular season? And they really just smacked y'all in the mouth and nothing. And didn't hear nothing from DeMarcus Lawrence this time about the Eagles, where he talked about we punched them, we hit them again, and when they was down, we kept hitting them again anyway. I ain't hear none of that this time. All I
No.
heard is y'all took that L. My Facebook has been restored this week. It has been quite peaceful. I know we had a conversation on the last show that if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, you might have to take down the water cooler.
Yeah, I might be out, man, but I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about that. But
I don't either. I don't either.
while we on the subject, it's like I completely agree. It's not that I hate the Cowboys as the players, Dak is a good dude, upstanding dude in the community of Dallas and Texas area. It's not even about that. It's just the fans. It's the fans. You cannot stick your chest out and beat your chest like you are a 12-foot gorilla when you have not done anything at all over the past 30 years. You just can't. You just can't, man. And for some of these fans, they want to light cigars and throw parties after regular season wins. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. And I only see Dallas Cowboy fans doing that. So they have to
Yeah.
really temper their expectations.
Joe said, I hate him, Rand. And Anthony says, I'm tired of hearing Michael Parsons complaining about the media. You put that star on so you know what it's all about. It's funny you say that, Anthony. I told another one of my Cowboy friends that the other week and this was the crazy part. He's complaining because he's like, Jalen Hurts has thrown all these interceptions. We talked about this on the last show. And then he was like, but if Dak had thrown that many interceptions, you never hear the end of it. And I brought up the comparison that, interceptions are not all created the same. Normally, when Dak throws a pick, the game is on the line. He throws a pick into the end zone because he's trying to get to a touchdown and he turns it over or something like that, which is highly different than at the end of the first half and you launch a Hail Mary pass into the end zone and you get picked off, or you get picked off in the middle of the first quarter. At the end of the game, when the lights are bright, the heavy wears heavier on your head than any time during the game. That drop of sweat that's running down your face, when it runs into your eye or into a scratch, it just burns, but you got to play through it. During those intense times of the game is when those interceptions normally come, and it costs the team a playoff berth. It cost them a championship game, all those types of things. So it's not just the fact that Dak would throw interceptions, it's when he would throw them. Joe says, I respect the organization and their accomplishment of the 90s, but their fans, oh, nah. Um, I hate them. Hate, okay, I'm done. I got you. I feel you. It's the same thing, Joe. Like I said, I used to root for Troy and Emmett and Moose and all those guys back in the day and stuff like that. I wanted to see them do well. But it was actually the Cowboy fans that made me an Eagles fan well before the Panthers were even thought of, because I couldn't stand them. If you live anywhere in Charlotte, people grew up around here, either a Cowboys fan or what was the Redskins, now the Commanders. And I used to hate hearing them go back and forth, back and forth. Made me hate them both. Cowboys definitely more, but made me hate them both to the fact that I said, who else is in their division? So that was around the Randall Cunningham time and everything else. And I became an Eagles fan after that. So I still fly. Eagles fly. Yes, they've lost 4 games in a row. Yes, Jalen Hurts isn't playing like he did at the beginning of the year and stuff like that. But, again, they've won a Super Bowl and they've been to a Super Bowl.
They've been relevant within the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Dallas, too. The whole America's team thing, they want to keep grinding that gear. Y'all have not been America's team since the 90s.
Right.
You haven't.
You can't. Nobody could live off of a reputation 28 years ago.
Right.
If Denzel Washington hadn't been in a movie, hadn't won an Oscar in 28 years, nobody would talk about Denzel Washington. If Jay-Z hadn't won anything in 28 years, would nobody be talking about Jay-Z? The only ones that can overcome that because their lives were stumped out short is Biggie and Tupac. Yeah. But most people, if you ain't done anything in 28 years, there are definitely some exceptions to that. There are GOATs, whether you talk about Patti LaBelle, whether you talk about any of those folks, Dolly Parton, whether you talk anybody like that, they're going to be ingrained. But to the younger people, maybe not as much because they don't know who the hell that is. They may have heard their songs and stuff because they've been sampled into other songs. But unless they got some old school parents that made them listen to that, even they don't know what that is.
Well, so, music is different than sports anyway.
It is.
Yeah.
But even when you think about basketball, there's people that wear Jordans that ain't never seen Michael Jordan play basketball.
Yep.
It's the shoe more so than it's the player. They can tell you everything about them Jordans, but they can't tell you nothing about how Jordan played with the Bulls. They can't tell you nothing about them rings that he got. They can't tell you about all the teams that he played on with Pippen. They can't tell you about the obstacles he ran into with Detroit and the New York Knicks and all of that. Or the time John Starks sat there and did that crazy dunk on the side, or Patrick Ewing got Scotty's nuts all in his mouth. They can't tell you about that. But they can tell you about them J's on. Yeah, them the retro 9s. Them the retro this. They know all about that. Anthony says, ain't the Cowboys versus Washington the biggest rival?
I don't know about
that. Going to grandma's house all the time, me listening listening to that. Yeah, that's all you ever used to hear about. And it drove me crazy. That's what made me a Phillies fan. But yeah, so the Phillies, Eagles fan. There's the Phillies. But so I understand, but Cowboy fans, like I always tell y'all, and then they love posting the little meme talking about what? Let me guess. That wasn't a real team either. And that was because when they do thump on somebody, most of the time it's a team that has a losing record, a team that they're supposed to beat. Then they go out and beat them quite handedly, I will admit. But then they take it too far and they're like, oh, yeah, you see that? So then everybody says, look, man, you ain't played nobody. You ain't beat nobody. So then they beat Seattle. All the meme. What? That wasn't a real team? Let me guess. And then they beat Philadelphia. And I saw the same meme out. And I'm like, listen, clock can be right twice a day. I mean, of course, you're going to finally beat somebody. But are you consistently doing it? Are you going to do it when it matters the most? That's what we're going to see. I'm not saying that they can't. I ain't looking for them to. But all I'm saying to you Cowboy fans, take the win and move on. It's not the fact that you win a game. It's not the fact that you have a decent record. It's the fact that y'all don't know how to handle success. No more than you know how to handle failure. Because when you fail, boy, you're on suicide watch. I have to sit there and call in. Hey, you good? You all right? You need me to come by and check on you? Because, man, y'all just go from in the dumps one to the other. The thing about being a Panthers fan, I accept the fact that a beer costs more than a ticket this past Sunday. I accept the fact that I can see so many blue seats out there. I thought the stadium was closed. I can accept that. Y'all can't accept stuff like that. I know my team's sorry. If they win a game, which they just did this week, which y'all didn't, but they did, okay, great. Don't change how I feel about them. You won another game. Great. 2 wins. Woohoo. Don't win too many. We need to tank. So anyway, but yeah, it's just crazy, Rand. But let's jump off the Cowboys for a minute and let's talk about your Steelers. What the hell?
Dude,
They
what is
they
he talking about?
they play the Indianapolis Colts. In case anybody didn't see it, Mr. Trubisky gets to start again in place of Kenny Pickett. And he went 16 of 23, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Not a lot even on the ground, with Jalen Warren leading the rushing with 10 carries for 40 yards. Gardner Minshew, Uncle Rico, threw for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Trey Sermon actually had a coming out party running the ball. I didn't know that Jonathan Taylor wasn't playing in that game. I know Zach Moss played in that game. Did Taylor actually get hurt? Did I miss that one?
He must have had an injury, and to be honest, I don't know what happened because I did not watch the game. If they're rolling out Mitchell Trubisky, I think I said this last week, I'm done. I'm not watching because I knew what was going to happen. I knew the end result, and the end result happened. I mean, Trubisky is a turnover waiting to happen. I see earlier this week, Pittsburgh has made the decision to go ahead and bench him. So it'll be either Kenny Pickett coming out of injury
Rudolph.
or Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
I
I heard
think Trubisky is done as a Steeler. He's played his last game, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy for that because he's just an automatic loss. And like I said, at least one turnover or maybe multiple waiting to happen whenever he starts a game. So.
yeah, I've never understood that with Trubisky. It's like, what is it that they see from him in practice that makes them, number one, not waive him, and number two, actually roll him out as a starter?
I don't know what made them sign him. I really don't.
I think once he went to the Bills and he sat behind Josh Allen, people thought that maybe he just needed a year to sit down and just kind of be able to look over things, and somehow that sitting was going to make him a better player. I've never understood that. I don't know where they get that from, but that had to be the thinking. But it was crazy. I mean, he is who he's been. I can't really blame Trubisky for getting free checks like that because he's the same dude. I hadn't seen him do anything any differently than he's already been doing.
Yeah.
Anthony says, "What's wrong with Harris?" And he says, "I'm surprised Pittsburgh didn't pick up PJ Walker. Why?"
PJ, I guess he would have been a slightly better option than Trubisky. But to me, I mean, Trubisky should have never been signed. They should have just rolled with Mason Rudolph and seen what they had with him as a backup. They had no business signing Trubisky in the first place. When that signing first happened, I knew the story behind it. I knew it was going to be a bunch of turnovers, and it's lived up to nothing but that. His career starts with us as far as his winning percentage. I mean, he's lost more than he started.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be the case too. As far as what's wrong with Harris, the Steelers are right there with the Panthers as far as trying to find solutions to an offensive line. And, they're going to have to really address that in this upcoming draft. They've danced around the whole getting a center thing for the past 2 to 3 seasons. And they've gotten, I guess, B-rate players to try to plug that hole. They're going to have to go out and get somebody that's a first or second round talent in order to help that offensive line out. Because that, with the combination of Harris, who's a little bit tentative when he gets the ball, it's not all the offensive line, but the combination of those two things turn a 250-pound running back that should be a wrecking machine into a little tiptoe machine that gets caught behind the offensive line a lot.
Does the inconsistency of the offensive line probably make the running back more tentative because he's trying to make sure that what I see is really what's there, because more times than not, it's not. And now he's having to kind of second guess the holes that he thinks are there, and how fast are they going to close because of the inconsistency of the offensive line.
Yeah, I would say that if it wasn't for the fact that his backup, Jalen Warren, seems to find hole, hit hole, accelerate through hole, and don't stop and think about it. And he's having a fantastic season. He's been one of the best fantasy football pickups out there. And this guy ain't no draft pick. I mean, he's an undrafted free agent. So there you go again, making the comparison with that and Harris, who was a first round selection. You're getting more production out of the little guy than you are the big guy. So it's just another one of those things that's going to hurt the future of running backs being drafted first round.
And not only that, but having any value when it's time for that second level contract. How do you convince teams not to use franchise tags on running backs when you see that, when you say, okay, we put all of our money into this first round or even a second round guy, but then you get a guy that wasn't drafted, a guy that was drafted really, really late, actually showing more production than that coveted guy out of college that was just killing the world. Like, I mean, even with Atlanta, they went and got Bijan Robinson. I mean, yeah, he's going to do well. He's going to be a beast. But looking back on it, they probably drafted him too high. Or he's on the wrong team, whatever it is. But there's not a lot of tape that makes you say, is Bijan Robinson production that much more effective than Chuba Hubbard?
And that's exactly what I was about to say. Look at what the Panthers did with Chuba, who was a 5th round draft selection coming from a smaller school. I can't remember what school it was, but it wasn't no Power 5, I don't believe.
Tennessee or Kentucky or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
They select him, and they ended up paying Miles Sanders, gave him a $6 million deal. But look who the production is coming from this year. It's Chuba Hubbard by far. So just once again, another thing that's going to hurt future running backs when they're out there trying to get paid, and especially, like you said, go into second contracts.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Chuba went to Oklahoma State.
Okay, so he did go to a Power 5 school. Okay.
He went to Oklahoma State. But yeah, but he wasn't, I mean, and he had put up some good numbers and stuff, but he wasn't heralded like that by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, so you're sitting there seeing these guys that don't get a lot of fanfare, don't get a lot of visits to teams and things like that, end up on a team, and then they make the most of their opportunities once they get onto that team. But so if somebody would have said to me, told me, Bijan Robinson is going to do this his first year, Chuba Hubbard is going to do that, and you could draft Chuba in addition to saving that money and adding other pieces onto your team. This is, again, where I say it's not day one draft picks that are going to make your team. It's the day 2 and 3 picks when they have to go deep into the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounds and find guys and be able to develop them. It's kind of like how baseball does when they have a farm league. They sit there and you just happen to have them on your team. But when they sit there and they have a guy and they bring him in, they sit there and they work him out in some of the other lower divisions and stuff like that. And then it's time to call him up. They call him up and he's ready to go. Sometimes you have to build from that. I know a lot of these make these splash $75 million contracts with these guys, which is crazy. In baseball and stuff, it ain't that guy. Yeah, he's the headliner. It's all of the other guys, that actually help your team get across the finish line. It ain't going to be that $175 million guy. It's going to be him in a combination of other parts that you've sat there and you've scouted well and you've gotten a return on your investment from. And that's what we're going to see with these running backs. But as far as running backs getting those second level contracts, I haven't seen too many guys this year make a case for that outside of Christian McCaffrey.
No, you're not going to either. I mean, the Cowboys, they got Tony Pollard, and they thought he was going to be this premier number 1 back. He's not that, man. He's not that dude. He's not that dude.
All right. He okay?
Yeah, he's okay, but he ain't that dude.
But he ain't gonna get no payday from that.
Yeah, you just named the guy. Trey Sermon comes off the bench for the Colts, and he runs for almost 100 yards on 17 carries.
Trey couldn't get out of the rotation in San Francisco. It was him, Mostert, Elijah Moore, Debo was running back there. It was a lot of guys in that crowded backfield, and Sermon couldn't get no play. Didn't they even send him down, I think, to either Miami or the Jaguars, and he tried to play down there.
Sermon, and I think he's another 4th or 5th round draft pick out of Alabama. So
he got lost. It wasn't that it was a bad back. It was just, you had other guys with similar talents that may have been slightly perceived to be better. And even on the Colts roster, he's behind Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
So, but he ended up, they played the hot hand against Pittsburgh. He was the hot hand, and they kept going with him. And, he actually ended up having a nice game against the Steelers. Anthony says it's a lot of running backs that's going to be free agents next year. It is, but you know what's going to happen? Teams are going to wait. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, we see you. We'll talk to the agent. They're going to make deals. They're going to have to sit there and settle. They're going to get 1 and 2 year deals. They're not going to get 5-6 year deals. A lot of these guys are going to want these big deals if they're unrestricted free agents. Not unrestricted, just free agents. A lot of times the team say, hey, we'll keep you, but if you want to go see if you can find a better deal, you can. And if somebody gives you one, we'll see if we want to match it. So they give them all that work of going out there, working out at another team. The other team sits there and says, hey, we'll pay you this. And he's like, man, I could sit there and make the same thing with my current team without having to move my family across the country. And they do that. So that used to be a way that players would be able to make their current teams pony up and pay absorbent salaries to their free agents. But in the case of the running backs, I hate to say it, but running backs are going to be a dime a dozen. There's going to be a lot of them out there as free agents. But are you really going to be able to list any of them as 1, 2, 3, or are you going to have a bunch of 1A, 1B, 1Cs going on, and you're going to have a bunch of Jags out there, just a guy?
Yeah, the Miles Sanders deal is not helping the Panthers and not helping future running backs. The Ezekiel Elliott deal to New England is not helping running backs out there.
How long did it take for him to get picked up?
Right,
the whole off season. He didn't even start out in camp with them, so they got him really, really late. He didn't get to come in and go through OTAs and go through mini camps, and which a lot of veterans, they sit out a lot of those anyway. But even getting the playbook, going through the walkthroughs and stuff like that. Wes Davison, how you doing, sir?
What up, Davison?
But Ezekiel Elliott didn't even get the benefit of that. He has had some games where they've done some good things with him outside of Ramondre Stevenson, but it's just, you just never know. I mean, he's not a consistent every game back that you're going to be able to see that production from. It's going to be like lightning in a bottle. Once it's there, you go ahead and ride it till it isn't there anymore.
Yeah, you're not going to get your money out of him anymore, man. I mean, those days are long gone.
Yep. You're going to have to say, okay, is today the day? And if it is, we ride him. And if it's not, you sit him down and you bring him in as a change of back pace or something like that. I've seen a lot more teams too, Rand, go to backs playing a series. They alternate between series. One back plays this series, the other back plays that series, and they just keep going back and forth.
That's where it's at now, man. You got to have two. You got to have two out there that are willing to share the load for specific reasons. Third down backs, got to have backs being able to catch coming out the backfield. You got to have backs that are able to pick up blitzes, linebackers running free, all of that, man. It's not just one guy position anymore. As you look around the league, there's very few, maybe a handful of guys that's able to fulfill all those roles like a McCaffrey does.
That's what's going to make you as a running back more valuable is your ability to be able to catch out of the backfield, go into motion, like you said, be able to at least chip a blitzer so they just don't have a free unabated path to the quarterback. being out there, even if you can chip them long enough to buy the quarterback space, and then you find a soft spot in the defense to make yourself available for a bubble screen, for a pass right there in the middle of the defense and stuff like that. When those overzealous linebackers are trying to come to the quarterback, you chip him long enough, and then you find a soft spot as a safety valve for him. That'll make you more. But if he throws it to you, you drop the ball, he throws it to you, and you can't catch it and then make somebody miss, then they're not going to sit there and put you in those situations as much. When you have a tight end that does that, but he can't catch the ball, then that takes another pass catcher away from the quarterback. So when you're a running back and you can kind of do that, that really helps continue to keep a lot of pass catchers on the field to give that quarterback options when they play against a very fast defense that can close in on the quarterback very, very fast. Wes says, Aran, he is still wet from the Panthers game.
You know what, though? You're a good luck charm, bro. You went to one game and they ended up winning that game. So
that is true.
Continue to a 10.
That's right. Even in the midst of a nor'easter, which we had, or tsunami. Please go, Wes. Please go.
So I do have a question for you, Wes, if you're still listening. I know you bought like tickets for a seat. Were they actually security out there, like giving a damn where you actually sat at, or did they just allow you to come down? You know, that would be my question. I'm just curious to know that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I got a friend of mine, and he's been working there for like the last 22 years on the field. You know, he helps with the sideline reporters and all that other kind of stuff. Wes says only for the first half. Okay, because they probably wanted to make sure that whoever was there is going to be there, and then once they realized that nobody else was really coming, then they probably didn't care. He said security screen left at half. Like, well, who are you securing? The seats have been secured for 20 years. They ain't moved. Yeah, I got you, Wes. Hey, what are we securing? You know, what are we guarding here? Come on. Let's get a head out on this traffic and stuff. Ain't no sense in staying here for this foolishness. Yeah, that's just crazy. So, yeah, Rand, I hate to say it, but it looks like your Steelers may not have that season that we talked about because they're already at 7-7, and the only way to finish ahead, they'd have to go 9-8. So they can really only afford to lose one more of the next 3 games.
They can only lose one more game, man. And that streak is at jeopardy, a big-time jeopardy of coming to an end. I would hate to see Tomlin be shown the door, but hey, it's out there. It's out there. A little bit of heat on his seat. And I can't blame some of that heat for being on his seat because you have no business losing back-to-back games to 2 of the worst teams in the NFL at home. You have no business doing that.
Yeah. Another team with also playing with a backup quarterback. And again, this is one of those situations again where teams, you know, they undervalue running backs, but they are also for a good reason, but they're also undervaluing the role of a backup quarterback and having that good backup quarterback. Gardner Minshew, he's again kind of like the whole Ezekiel Elliott thing where he will have games where you just go, man, this dude is just slinging it. And then you have other games where you're like, golly, this guy's a bum. Well, against against Pittsburgh, he had 3 touchdown passes to no interceptions. And that just cannot happen.
Cannot happen, man. And it's just a pattern of that going on with the Steelers game after game after game, making all these backup quarterbacks look like they're Joe Montana.
World beater.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, like if he just showed that tape alone to try to get another contract, see, that's how they end up getting attached to another team because somebody will see that Pittsburgh game and go, that's what he could be. Even though you'll only see it every now and then, that's what he could be. And they just play to that. Maybe he just got Drew Rosenhaus as an agent. I don't know who his agent is, but maybe he's got one of those guys that can just sell some stuff like that. Wes, I actually said too, imagine standing in the pouring rain to keep people from moving from the dollar seats to the $10 seats.
Right. Let him have it.
And
Let
he
him
said,
have it.
he says, "Come on down, Washington. Come on down to Washington, Tomlinson." And Anthony says, "The Browns are like the Browns are like the 49ers. Anybody can play quarterback and win. LOL." I don't know. It's hard to dispute that this year, but that would have been easily to dispute in years past because it just seemed like anybody that could be good could play for Cleveland and still look like doo-doo.
Yeah.
That's their MO. Is it didn't matter who their quarterback was. The soonest they got the hell away from Cleveland, the better their career would be.
Yeah. That defense is helping them tremendously this year.
Wes said, "Ooh, shots fired."
Mhm.
about the Anthony's comment about the Browns. Well, it's hard to say, Wes, because it's kind of true. I mean, think about it. They went through Garoppolo. They still went to the NFC Championship. They had Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, and they still go. Um, you know, it just seems like they can pretty much put anybody back there and nothing changes. They just keep on going, keep on going. So there is some truth to be said. And you know what? I don't necessarily call that being a system quarterback. Sometimes I think that it's just better coaching, better schemes, better lines that are set up, and you play to the player's ability. Too many times I see coaches come in with a certain philosophy and they try to make players that aren't geared to that philosophy try to play it, and they're just not simply capable of doing that. I'll give you an example. I think the Panthers, they kept talking about them running a 3-4 defense, and these players were not geared to running a 3-4 defense. Obviously, these were 4-3 players. As much as Ivero wanted to make it a 3-4 team, these guys were 4-3 players. And if you don't play to their strengths, you're going to make them do things that they're not used to doing, and it's going to show up when they're playing teams on the other side of the ball. They're going to say, "Okay, we're going to see how much of a 3-4 y'all really are."
That dude's doing a fantastic job, by the way. Panthers let him get away. They're making a huge mistake.
Big time. They just got to get players that can fit into that system.
Yep.
Players that you had held over, your Dante Jacksons, your Jeremy Chins. Those weren't guys that were set for 3-4 defenses. That's not them. So you're going to have to sit there and find because 3-4 defense to me is built on speed.
Yeah, you got to have athletic outside linebackers to match up against the run and the pass.
Yes.
And the Panthers really don't have that. I mean, Burns is capable of doing some of that, but then you look on the other side, they don't have anybody. Gross Matos is not that.
Right.
Houston is definitely not
and when
that.
teams run, they do not run to Burns' side for that very reason. They know they can expose the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's scouting.
Ajiro has done a great job with the Panthers defense. I think they're ranked top 5, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Considering that they don't have all the pieces that they need and some of the injuries that they've had to play through. But yeah, that dude is an absolute talent. I'm praying that they'll be able to keep him as defensive coordinator or make him head coach and bring in a solid offensive coordinator. But he's definitely going to get some thought throughout the league for a head coach position.
Well, and rightfully so. But they're going to be there are going to be a lot of open head coach positions at the end of this year. You already got 2 with the Panthers getting rid of what's his name, and then you Frank Reich. I just saw on Google the other day that his house is already up for sale, so he's left. He's gone.
He's out of here.
He's out of here. So you got Frank Reich gone. You got Brandon Staley gone. You probably got Ron Rivera gone. Those to name a few. You already got the Raiders with an open head coaching position as well. I
might have Belichick out of here too.
Belichick might be gone. I think Eberflus is going to be safe. I don't know if Saleh is going to be safe up in New Jersey. I think they're going to give him one more chance to see what he can do with Aaron Rodgers, but his chain is going to be very, very short. They bring him back next year. and they don't make it not only to the playoffs but deep into the AFC playoffs next year, he's done. He is done. I think New York's coach is probably safe this year. I think Chicago's safe. Coach is probably safe this year too. I know Houston looks good. Doug Peterson down in Jacksonville looks good. I know Miami's coach looks good right now. Arthur, what's his name in Atlanta? That could be a little shaky. I think New Orleans, that could be a little shaky.
Yeah, that dude could do. He might be one and done, man.
Yeah. That's
Allen sucks.
Allen, Dennis Allen, shaky, could be gone. So yeah, there's some definite positions that could be coming open. Wes threw out something. Wes started shit. He said game manager Brock Purdy.
Sure.
You call them what you want. They the number one seed. So, if my quarter, listen, I don't care. Look, it's not like you drafted him like Bryce Young with the overall number one pick. If somebody said Bryce Young game manager and that was true, that would piss me the hell off.
Yeah, he just put that with sarcasm. I thought it was sarcasm.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, right. Oh, because people will say that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I need Brock, and Brock isn't a game manager. He's way more than that, because what you need out of, and people will say, well, is he an elite quarterback? This is how I would say this. This is why I think Brock is better than Dak. Brock will come through for the throws that he really needs to come through for. Very seldom will he leave points on the field. He will, but very seldom will he leave points on the field. He can go through his first, second, and third reads pretty easily. I've watched him read the field and go through his progressions. There's a lot of quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, that will go to his hot read, and that's it.
The dude is complete 70% of his passes. Somebody doing that ain't no damn game manager.
Right, because a game manager is a guy that they say, okay, this is a list of plays that we're going to have you do, but we're going to sprinkle in a lot of runs so that you
Bryce
play outside, right? That you don't have to play outside of yourself. We just need you to keep the chains moving. Don't try to overdo anything where you now put us in a position where the defense just gave us the ball, and within 3 plays, they got to come right back out there and try to go get it again. That's what we need. That's more of a game manager. Just need you to keep the chains moving on time. Every now and then, we're gonna sprinkle in a pass here, a pass there, with a heavy dose of our running game and stuff like that. Washington as well will need one. He said, yeah, Rivera, definitely for the Redskins this time. Very well said definition of a game manager. Thank you, Wes. That is kind of more along those lines. Are there guys in the league that fit that bill? Absolutely.
Kenny Pickett is a game manager until I see different.
Oh, definitely. Yep. He's not gonna be a guy that's gonna. Can he take over a game?
He has in very rare instances, but not enough. Not enough, especially not this year.
I mean, I've seen Bailey Zappi take over a game once. So yeah, I mean, anytime you're gonna be in the same paragraph of a conversation as Bailey Zappi, no, bro. Hell, I can't even say Bryce Young is as good as Bailey Zappi.
No, absolutely not.
Or Mac Jones, to be honest with you. I would take either one of them, and that's not saying a lot. I don't want any one of them, so that's going to be funny. All right, let's get through some of these other games that did happen other than the Steelers and the Colts. That was 30-13. Ran in the game that, it was funny. I made a joke last week, and I said, what's the difference between Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley? And I said, Justin Herbert will be back next year for the Chargers. The next day, within 24 hours.
Out of here, man.
The Chargers lost to the Raiders 63-21. You
Yeah.
let the Raiders, who just 3 days before that play against damn, who did they say? They played against the Vikings
Minnesota.
and
Yep.
lost 3-0. They lost 3-0 3 days ago and hung 63 on your ass. You had to fire him.
You had to. And
You had
here
to.
the comment. This is the comment that got him canned. He hung himself. Talking about these type of games happen to all great coaches. Who in the hell said you was a great coach, bro?
Bro, he got some visions of grandeur if he said that. That's just crazy. You know, games happen. You know, have I seen a great head coach get his tail handed to him? Yeah, but bruh, he just had a goose egg after 4 quarters 3 days ago. Come see your ass. Can't stop scoring. It was 42-0 at halftime. I'm done. Wes says, exactly. Who says that, man? He says, how about Jacoby Brissett as a game manager? And then dude has played 12 minutes of football and has a quarter amount of the touchdowns as Zach Wilson. That's true. But my God, 63. Jesus.
You gotta go.
Do you know how bad and deflated you'd have to be to let a team put up? I mean, it was like when the Dolphins earlier this year, we were sitting there laughing when they hung 70 up. I mean, my God. And listen, Easton Stick was your starting quarterback. Easton, for his first full start, was 23 of 32, 257, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Now, I will say that you can throw a little bit more freely when you're getting your ass handed to you like that.
Yeah.
It was
not too hard to throw against prevent defense.
Yeah, exactly. It was 40. It was 42. It was 42 another halftime. Of course, you can light it up then. You can play as free as you want to. They're playing prevent. That's all. But the fact is that you both scored 21 points in the third and the fourth quarter combined. You just couldn't overcome the first 42.
Did you watch the game?
I watched some of it, then I just left.
I watched some of it too. And you could tell that the players they just checked out. First quarter, they checked out, man. Bro,
I would have been checked out. They've been like, where be at? And he went to the locker room at halftime. He ain't come back out. For what? West said, or dudes get scored 62 points on them, then give the hand forward for first down. Bro, that is I ain't never understood that. You getting your ass. I get it. You feel good. You made a play, and you sitting there wanting to do that. Don't nobody
want like the biggest jack ever.
And for it, you do. You look stupid. I get it. You want to sit there and go to a corner and puff your chest. Ain't nothing to puff your chest out to when you made a play, yet you are still down 42-0. Yet when a team scores 63 points on you and you kick a field goal and y'all sitting there patting them on the head, why? What? You needed more of those. Shit. It was a freaking bloodbath. Aiden O'Connell, another backup. 20 of 34, 244 touchdowns. The defense was scoring touchdowns. Everybody was scoring touchdowns. I felt like Oprah was out there. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Hey, ball boy, come here. Touchdown! I thought they were just giving touchdowns out in the parking lot. Like, shit. Is somebody else going to get a touchdown today? Oh, my God. Bro, that was a crazy game because normally them Thursday night games be those yawning games and stuff like that. But, man, I said, this is crazy. There's no way that they're going to hit 60, and damn sure if they didn't hit 60. That was just an absolute flogging. And Brandon Staley was shown the door, as well as the general manager, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what you need to do when you get ready to bring in another coach. The coach and the general manager need to come in together, and their futures are tied to each other. Because that incentivizes them to be on the same page from day one, and to make sure that the decisions that the general manager is making is going to translate to what's happening on the field. You can't
Exactly why we call Fitterer in Carolina a dead man walking.
Man walking. Yeah, he just walk. It's like you see him, but he ain't. Is he really there? What decisions has he made over the last 45 days that an interim general manager couldn't have made? Get rid of him. Y'all want an interim general manager? I'll tell you what. I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll do it
for half the salary.
Half the third. You know, a third of the salary and a couple of cases of Corona every week and limes. I'm good. Don't give me them compare food limes. Don't give me them little limes.
I tell you what, bro, your draft choices can't be no worse.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell nah. I might can't win no Mount Prime time, but bro, going to the playoffs in this fantasy. I can do that. I can pick them.
Yep.
But yeah, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. What is he doing there? There's no way, there's no future I see in the Panthers selecting their next head coach, and Scott Fitterer is the GM. That makes no sense.
There's no scenario I see that happening.
If you do that, Tepper, then again, you are not setting your team up for success. You need a new guy to go shopping for groceries, because this guy goes and shops at one of them food banks where the food been sitting on the shelf for a while, but by the time you get it, might not be as fresh as it used to be. Yeah. Hey, that meat that you just bought today, you better cook it today. Don't even put it in the fridge, bro. It ain't gonna last that long. Cook it today. Matter of fact, when you shopping, already had the grill warming up.
Yep, it'll be green by Sunday.
It will. Don't do it. And you know, anybody that laugh, they know what I'm talking about, because they probably been like, yeah, I don't had about that kind of meat before. Yeah. And you just knew good and well, hell, hey, I better have it ready to go. You know, maybe you had a party, you had a couple extra people show up, you run to the store real quick and you'll get some of this kind of meat. And you're like, it ain't gonna matter because I'm about to go cook this anyway. Wash it off real good. Hope you wash your meat, y'all. Some of y'all don't. Y'all take it right back, throw it on the grill, nasty ass. Anyway, it's a whole nother story. But you gonna cook it right in there. Wes says, I feel attacked personally.
I'm not coming to your cookout.
I knew I was gonna step on some toes when I said that. Oh Lord, please wash your meat. You know, if you in the bathroom at the Quick Trip, I'm gonna say this public service announcement too. And I hear you sitting there grunting and doing all that stuff, and then you had the nerve to get up, pull up your pants, and then walk out without going to that thing.
Oh yeah. I got my eye on you, bro.
I just saw it the other day. I'm sorry, I had to comment on that. I mean, dude was in there just going at it. Woo! What the hell are you doing? And then he just gets up and walks out. I'm like, oh hell no. He says, we're in a recession. I buy meat. If you keep buying that old meat, your ass ain't gonna live out of that recession. Or you gonna spend a lot of your time on the toilet.
Yeah, it'll be just like old dude you talking about. But I hope you wash your hands.
That might have been Wes. That might have been him grinning. Woo! Like, what are you doing, bro? Oh man, I didn't know if you was relieved that it was over or that it came out or what was going on in there. But then he just left. Like, oh, he must thought they ain't had no sinks in here. I'm like, there's two of them, bro. Go for it, you know. I only can use one. But anyway, so that was interesting. So yeah, we had the 63-21 game. Man, and again for another week, Rand, I will say this. Somebody forgot to tell the Bengals that Joe Burrow ain't playing no more and they supposed to lay down and just wait till next year.
Man, I'm telling you, I am a Jake Browning fan all day long. If the Steelers don't go and get this guy, can Carolina get this guy? I mean, I need one of my teams to get this guy. For real, man.
29 of 42, 324, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick from your backup quarterback.
Yep. And
A guy
the
that
thing I
never
loved about him in this game,
cleanup. Mm-hmm.
thing about I loved about him in this game is he had a little bit of adversity.
Yeah.
Threw a pick that cost his team, but he came right back from it. Didn't stop him. He started slinging the ball all over the place, man. This guy seems to be unbreakable and flappable. That's the kind of quarterback that you need. A man among men in the locker room. Somebody that's going to go out there and set the tone. And he's in charge. We don't have that in Carolina. Sorry, Bryce, but we don't.
We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy that the grit that you see. And again, Jake Browning goes into the season, know he's going to be holding the clipboard, wearing the ball cap. Joe Burrow's the guy. You know that your opportunities are going to be very limited, if at all, because he's the anointed one. I mean, you're there for the ride. You're there to, work with the second team and all of that kind of stuff, preparing him for games and stuff like that. But the actual likelihood of you seeing the field is just going to be few and far between. He understood that, but he stayed ready. When they called on his number, he didn't come out there and they said, hey, we just need you to be a game manager. We're going to give you a list, a handful of plays, and we're going to just go Joe Mixon, which they do a lot of times. They will go Joe left, Joe right, Joe middle, and just keep pounding the hell out of it. But knowing that they were behind, they needed their quarterback to be able to step up. They took this game to overtime, get them in a position to be able to kick field goal and stay in contention in the playoffs. They're now 8-6. That's just unbelievable to be able to see a guy, and he's not an older guy, to be able to see a young guy kind of come in and do that and kind of have ice in his veins. Yes, they're behind the Ravens in the AFC North by 2 games. I'm sorry. Not second. The Browns are second. They're third. They're at 8-6. The Browns are at 9-5. I see 2 brown fellas. But the Bengals are 8-6. They are still in it. I mean, they would still need a couple of things to bounce their way, but you got to take care of your business so some of those other scenarios can play out.
Yeah. I've seen enough with Browning. I've posted that on a couple of my Facebook pages. I've seen enough, man. I would definitely pick that dude up if I was the GM for Pittsburgh or even Carolina, even though we got Bryce. Cincinnati, I don't see them hanging on to him next year. He's too good for the backup role. They could go get themselves a regular backup from anywhere. Burrow's definitely going to be their number one guy. They got too much invested in him. So to me, Browning is an excellent trade piece for anybody in the league. Somebody's going to get themselves a winner.
Oh, definitely. I was trying to see if I could see his contract. I was trying to pull up Jake Browning experience. First season. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they didn't have to pay a lot to get him. It's going to be interesting to see because he's not going to be up for a new contract. But will they be able to make some kind of trade that would make sense? Now, the Panthers don't have the number 1 pick. Don't have a first round pick in this coming draft. But could you get away with sending a second and a third for him?
I don't see why not.
And if you could, to play it out a little bit, if you could, would you sit there then and still get rid of Brian Burns so that maybe you can move up into the first round again? But now, instead of feeling like you have to go nuclear and draft you another young, inexperienced quarterback, ride with Browning, sign a veteran. That way you got a 3-guy quarterback room, if you move on from Andy Dalton. And let Bryce and Browning fight it out in training camp, let the best man win, and go there and then use that first round pick that you've gotten for Brian Burns to be able to address another pressing need.
You and I would definitely do that. Our hard-headed, stubborn Panthers are probably not.
See, that's why you need another GM in there that may think like that that would say, okay, wait a minute. Even if we draft a quarterback next year, that is not going to solve all of the woes on this team. You still got to address line, you got to address receivers, you got to address some defensive spots and things like that. Putting all your eggs in one basket is what got you here in the first place. You got to sit there and say, wait a minute, if we keep doing the same thing over and over and thinking we're going to get different results, there's a definition for that.
It's not a good one.
Not a good one. You don't want somebody diagnosing you as insane. I can definitely say that. So that'll be interesting to see. But congratulations to the Bengals. Hey, y'all keep it in there, even if you don't. I love the fact that you said no quit. When the whole league basically said, well, it's over. I ain't gonna lie, I said the same thing. You guys said, you know what? Y'all might be saying all that, but we ain't here for that. And you guys are playing some meaningful games in the month of December, and that is absolutely awesome. It's a testament to the team. Yeah.
I thought there would be another New York Jets situation where they lost Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the year, and it's just all downhill after that.
Exactly.
But they have not been that at all, man.
And this is what I said about having a backup quarterback. You can't have so much invested into your number one guy that when he goes, your season's over. That's exactly what happened to the Jets. Their season was over because they lost their starting quarterback. The Raiders, their season was over because they lost their starting quarterback. The Bears had lost a lot of games because Fields was out for a while. The Titans lost their starting quarterback. You know, Will Levis has been a pleasant surprise in patches. When the Rams lose Stafford, they don't look the same. They're also not throwing the ball to the other team as much. Let's be clear. But when certain teams lose their starting quarterback, it's over. They fold. Now we're going to see if the Texans can overcome that as well, and we'll get to them in just a second. But we had another game that was refreshing, and I didn't know how it was going to go because this one team, man, 1 minute they look like they can beat anybody, and the next minute they look like they can lose to anybody. And it does worry me, as they will make it into the playoffs, but they kind of got a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde going on, and that's none other than the Detroit Lions. They had to play against the stingy defense of the Denver Broncos, and they did come out quite victorious at 42-17. But going into that game, I either knew that the Lions were going to score a lot of points, or it was going to be a nail biter with a lot of field goals. It ended up being Jared Goff's one of his best games. He follows up a stinker with 24-34, 278. Not gaudy. I mean, not 300-yard game, but he passed for 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I kind of thought that they would have a bounce back. And, you know, a lot of people are riding Philadelphia right now. But I also think that they're going to have a bounce back as well.
Me too.
What's Philly lost? About 3 straight now?
4. You talking about Philly? 4.
Yeah. I just don't continue to see that slide. I think they're going to somehow pull it out and remember who they are down the stretch. So Detroit did that, apparently, putting up 42 against one of the better defenses out there. And I think Philadelphia will do the same thing, probably starting this week.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because right now, now that you mentioned that with the standings, the Cowboys and the Eagles are both tied at 10-4. Tiebreaker doesn't exist between themselves because they've each beaten each other. So either one's got to win outright to claim to be able to claim the number 1 seed in the NFC East, or it's going to come down to tiebreakers against other division rivals. So that's where it's going to get real important down the stretch. They play 16 games, so obviously, 14 games. So obviously, they got 3 more to go. So we'll see what happens over the next 3 games. I kind of still have more faith in the Eagles pulling out their last 3 games or winning, going 2-1 than I would the Cowboys, even though the Cowboys have the easier schedule between the two. I just don't have the faith in the Cowboys to pull it out.
Cowboy fans, I just have to say this. You know what's coming, right? I mean, you know what's coming. So have your fun now, do your celebrations and all that, but the playoffs are less than a month away, and Stephen A. Smith is already in production, putting something together for y'all.
You gotta
It
be.
happens every year. Every
One,
year.
one of my friends posted last week that says, you don't need a calendar to know when it's December. because the Cowboys start losing.
It's coming. It's coming. And it's usually in stupid fashion, but it's
Right.
coming.
And if you had to just look on paper to this week alone, if the Eagles against the Giants ain't a get right game, I don't know what is. If the Eagles can't slow down Danny DeVito and team, I don't know what is. Now Saquon gonna be formidable, absolutely. But if the Eagles can't get Devontae and AJ and the rest of them boys, Gainwell and all them, a get right game, and the Cowboys got to go to Miami.
Ooh,
Hopefully Tyreek's ankle is okay. Because if it is, and he can blow and listen, Cowboys, y'all might want to play prevent the whole game. Because if you don't, Tyreek gonna get behind your defense and Tua gonna find you. And if you sit there and you try to double on Tyreek, there's a guy named Jalen Waddle that's gonna get right on you. And if you try to sit there and put too many on them, then there's a guy named Mostert, a guy named Achane that's gonna sit there and run all over you.
Y'all might just want to put a safety in the end zone the whole game.
You might want to. That's why I can't wait to see this game. Now, the Eagles and the Giants is a Monday night game. It's a Christmas Day game. Okay. I was like, why is it 4:30? Because Monday's Christmas. So there's going to be 3 games on Christmas. You got the Raiders and the Chiefs at 1. The Chiefs should win that game, but I think the Raiders are going to win it.
Yeah, let me not even say anything because the way these damn primetime games have been going, anything is possible, man.
Now the one that I will be watching for sure on Christmas is the 8:00 game, because that's going to be between the Ravens and they're going to have to go to Levi Stadium to play them damn 49ers.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a great one. Great one.
Woo! See Bosa just running all up on Lamar. Fred Turner and them just running all up on Some of those picks that didn't happen. Seeing if OBJ can get loose a little bit against that defense. Seeing Brock Purdy game manage. Whew. Yeah. See, Wes, I can do sarcasm too. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. So 3 Monday Christmas games are going to be absolutely awesome. I disagree with the Sunday night game. It's going to be the Patriots and the Broncos.
Ugh.
Why?
They need to go and flex that.
Y'all must really want us to stay out late Christmas shopping, last minute Christmas shopping, because ain't nothing to run home to when you sitting there billing up the Broncos and the Patriots. Ain't gonna happen. But that Cowboys Dolphins game, oh yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here now. If you Cowboys, if you beat them, great. But if you don't, now the Eagles are going to potentially be 1 game up on you, and then it's going to make even your last 2 games be even more important. And then the Cowboys don't get out of the frying pan that easily. Then the Lions come see them the following week.
Whoa.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough one down the stretch there.
That's very tough down the stretch. At that, and then that same week, the Eagles got to play the Cardinals, a lot easier game, and they're playing in Philly at the Lincoln.
Oh man, yeah, this division is Philadelphia. What are we even talking about?
And then Dallas gets 1 get right game, but it could be a trap. Their last game is against Washington. Washington ain't got nothing to play for. They coach getting fired. Half of them getting deactivated at the end of the season. They're going to blow that whole thing up. So wouldn't it be nice to play the role of spoiler?
And they're going to try to be the spoiler.
and you playing in Washington. Wouldn't
Yep.
that be a game? Now, I don't know if the scheduling gods did this on purpose, but 2 of the last 3 games for the Eagles happen to be against the New York Giants.
Yeah. So Dallas fans, I don't even know why we celebrating, man. Y'all ain't winning the East.
Let me just go on back to where I was and the way I started this. How about them?
Yeah.
How about them? Yeah, y'all got a tough road. I ain't gonna lie, Cowboy fans. I thought y'all had an easy middle schedule, but the end is just gonna be crazy. So you have to keep toe to toe with Philly because I agree with Rand. It seems like these last 3 games are going to be kind of get right games for them, where they have an opportunity to kind of come back and take C's of the NFC East. That's going to be interesting. As far as the NFC West, the 49ers are well on their way. They're already at 11-3. The closest team to them are the Rams and the Seahawks, both tied at 7-7. You would need the 49ers to basically lose all the rest of their games for anybody in their division to go ahead and be the number 1 seed. I just don't see that happening at all. More than likely, they're going to either end up 12-4, not 12-4. I'm sorry, that's 16 games. 12-5, 13-4, and 4, something like that. But I don't see them losing the rest of their games. Matter of fact, if the Seahawks and the Rams win all of their games, they would only be at 10 wins. The 49ers already have 11, so nobody in their division can take the seed from them. So they've already clinched that. Matter of fact, I'm looking at my scale now. They've clinched the division already. The Cowboys and the Eagles have already clinched a wild card, but that's about it. Nobody else, but here's the funny thing. Nobody else in the NFC has either clinched the division or the wild card.
Yeah. That North is going to be a good one to watch coming down the stretch. See how they line up. Vikings, Packers, and the Lions.
The Vikings, Buccaneers, Saints, Seahawks, and Rams are all 7-7.
Yep.
That's crazy. You can go ahead and count out the Giants, the Commanders. You can go ahead and count out the Cardinals. You can go ahead and count out the Bears. You can go ahead and count out the Falcons and the Panthers. But that still keeps alive the the Packers at 6-8. They're pretty much done. Only because they'd have to win a wild card, and there's just too many other stronger wild card teams. I don't think the Vikings have a chance at the division, but they definitely have a chance at the wild card. I think the Lions, after they smack around the Cowboys, are going to clinch the division after they beat the Cowboys up.
Yep.
Hey, Kim. Kim says, let's go Panthers. Absolutely. Let's go Panthers. Let's go to the bar, Panthers. Let's go Christmas shopping, Panthers.
Let's go Panthers next year.
Yeah. Let's go $8 tickets. Hey, baby, you ain't never been to an NFL game? Let me show you. Oh, nah, baby, I don't want you spending all that kind of money. Oh, baby, for you, I'll do anything knowing you pay $8 for them tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they probably didn't even scan it when you showed up at the arena. They're like, please come. Or you just walking by going to do something else, and they're like, y'all want to see a game? Remember that movie? Y'all want to see a dead body? Yeah. Come in here. Let me show it to you. I'm gonna show you 53 dead bodies just walking around. They got helmets on, but they dead. Because they got to show up. They're contractually obligated to show up, but the results have already been predetermined. Their season is done. So that's where you are with the NFC. Kim says, hey, we need help. We need Jesus.
Need massive help.
We need a whole lot of help. We do. And it's not coming this year at all. So, but I'm clear-eyed about that. I'm okay. In the AFC, the Ravens have definitely clinched the wild card. They have not clinched the division yet because the Browns are 9-5 right on their heels. Rand, I still think the Ravens are going to win that division. But again, we'll see. I'll feel a little bit more comfortable about the Ravens once I see how they do against San Francisco.
Yeah,
Not whether they beat them or not, but if they lose, how do they lose?
I understand. Because we
Yeah,
all see what happens with them
gotta
down the stretch.
see it. They're gonna have a whole lot of wins in the regular season, but I need to see how they play against the 49ers. Not looking for the victory, but even in defeat, I want to see how they lose this game. Rand, I'm gonna tell you a division in the AFC that I didn't see this coming at all, and that's the South.
Yeah, you got
The
the Colts
Jaguars,
one.
Colts, and the Texans are all tied at 8-6.
Crazy.
Anybody can win that division other than the Titans.
Yeah. That's the only thing I saw coming was the Titans.
Oh yeah, definitely that. You know, you're gonna have to remember the Titans because you ain't gonna see these Titans. But a three-way tie for first place, 14 games into the season.
Yeah. It's gonna be some beautiful football down these last what do we got? 3 weeks left? It's gonna be some good games, man.
Kim
See
says
how these divisions shape out.
we need Jesus to go to Walmart. Kim, let me be clear. If it's December the 23rd, 24th, or 25th, you will never see me at Walmart. You probably won't see me at Walmart even before that. But I can guarantee you, you will never see me at that. Let's go Patrick Mahomes. Kim, you went from the Panthers to the Chiefs like that? Lord have mercy. Anyway, and then the AFC North is going to shake up to be one because you got two teams basically playing for second place in the Browns and the Bengals. So that's going to be a tight division. One of them has to win out or win two of their last three to have a chance at that wild card. Then you've got the Broncos trying to keep the pressure on the Chiefs. If the Raiders do pull off the upset and beat the Chiefs, that will put them at 7-8 and the Chiefs at 9-6. I still think that the Chiefs will win out the AFC West, but they look beaten and bruised. They don't look like the Chiefs of old. This team has been living off that reputation for a while, and it's starting to catch up with them. Their woes that they've had for quite some time is really starting to catch up with them.
They've gotten by forever with no wide receiver help, but that is finally starting to catch up with them, man.
It is.
And Kelsey is he's finally showing some rust.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they might have to swift tail on out of there. I like quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I like Lamar too. I just wouldn't have paid him all that money, but you know, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother offseason. And then in the AFC East is kind of looking like I predicted it would at the beginning of the season. With the Dolphins clearly ahead in first place, the Bills right there behind them, the Jets backing up the rear. And I didn't think the Jets would be 5-9. I thought with Aaron Rodgers, they would be more like through 14 games, maybe 10-4, 9-5, something like that, improved upon. Of course, he left after the fourth play of the first game. And then the Patriots backing up the rear at 3-11. The Patriots win no more than 5 games this year. I don't see how Bill Belichick survives. I just don't see it. He can't live off of those Super Bowls forever. He just can't. What's up, Tyler Adams? What's going on, bro? Merry Christmas to you. And Kim also said Russell Wilson. Okay. I just don't see it. I think the Dolphins are going to do just enough to go ahead and hold on to that division. The Bills, again, you know, I said that their window is closing. But they may have just a little bit more in the tank as far as getting rid of a team or two in the playoffs. We'll see. But I think the Dolphins are going to be, well, if the Ravens slip, the Dolphins still have a chance to take the number 1 overall seed. Y'all got to remember that the playoffs now, as it is with 7 teams in each division, only the overall number 1 gets a first week bye. Even the number 2 team, even though it's a home game for them, have to play in the opening round of the playoffs, where in years past, first and second got the first round byes, and then the other teams played in the wild card. Now the second seeded team, even if they win their division, even if they have a great record, will have to play in the opening weekend. That can be advantageous to a team to be able to get that first weekend off, let everybody beat the hell out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that shakes up. Baltimore, you're playing for more than just a couple of extra wins you're playing for the fact that if you've got to play on opening weekend, your chances of making it to the AFC Championship game get lower and lower. And if they don't win outright and the Dolphins end up taking it from them, I see a potential first week loss for them.
Yeah. You got the Bills as well, who are getting hot here, and they got their next game up against the Chargers. You could go ahead and write that in as another win.
Are they going to put 63 on them?
I doubt they put 63, but maybe 43.
Hey, anything more than 7 will be enough.
Yep.
You got some other games coming up. Not a whole lot of other sexy games other than the ones we mentioned on Christmas. You do have the Lions playing the Vikings. That's going to be a decent game. The Browns and the Texans. That's going to be a lot for both teams. The Browns trying to keep pace with the Ravens in that AFC North and trying to stave off the Bengals from overtaking them for the 2nd seed. But the Texans are also playing for first place in the AFC South. So that's going to be an interesting game. The Packers play the Panthers. Of course, that's going to be a win here at Carolina for Green Bay. But I think it'll be a little bit too little too late for the Packers to be able to do anything as far as playoff implications. But it will be another opportunity for Jordan Love to be able to solidify his spot as the starting quarterback of those Green Bay Packers. The Seahawks and the Titans, that should be a good game if Geno can come back from that game. If not, Drew Lock did just enough to go ahead and beat the Eagles. So maybe they can sit there and lean on him again if needed and necessary. The Jaguars are playing the Buccaneers. That's going to be interesting, Ram, because the Jaguars have been hurt. Sunshine has been hurt. They've got to go to Tampa Bay. Like, that's really a road game. They're still in Florida. But they got to go to Tampa Bay. And if they can end up beating the Buccaneers, then that's going to throw the NFC South's mess into even more of a mess between Atlanta and the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers also have to stave off the Indianapolis Colts, who have to play against the Falcons in Atlanta again, as if that was a really away game. It's probably right down the street. So those are going to be some interesting games. Any games that you're going to be paying attention to?
Yeah, Saints Rams primetime game tomorrow. Both teams are 7-7, trying to fight for the playoffs lives. That one's going to be a good one. And then, of course, you got the Slobberknocker, which is happening on primetime Christmas night. Ravens versus 49ers. That game is going to be for real, for real.
Ravens and Niners?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Christmas game. Yep. Absolutely. Ravens and the Niners. That's going to be the big one right there. Look forward to seeing that game. Guys, we are at the end of another show. I was going to show my Cowboys video again, but I'm not. Y'all just have to sit there and replay it. I played it twice, dang it. It was funny. Kim says, no, the Panthers are going to win. Against the Packers? No. They can't stop the run. And the Packers actually run the ball pretty well. I wish you were right. Actually, I don't really care anymore.
That's where I'm at. I don't care.
because it won't mean anything if they win.
No,
it don't mean more to the Packers than it will to the Panthers. The Packers still have something to kind of play for. It may not be a playoff berth, but it is giving their young quarterback a lot of things that he didn't have because Aaron Rodgers was there for so long, and that's actual live NFL play. And you can't really replicate that. So I think that's going to help Jordan Love in his journey as an NFL quarterback.
Only thing the Panthers could do to excite me at this point is to put up 30 offensive, and then I might be a little bit more.
But you know what? If they do that, I'm going to be pissed because I'm going to be like, where you been?
At least it's here.
Where you been? I want you to keep that same energy. You've been doo-doo since game one. Just stink up the joint. Keep them ticket prices low. So maybe some families that don't normally get to go see an NFL game, a family of 4 can see an NFL game for less than $40. And still pay $15 for them beers. Unbelievable. Anyway, let me get up out of here. Wait a minute. I got one more comment. I'm going to read it. A win is a win for the Panthers. No, I ain't there. I'm not there. A win is not a win. Every win ain't a win. A house is just a house. No, a win is not a win always, even when it's not there. I just can't. I can't with them. They got to do more than that. They got to change their culture. They got to change a lot of stuff. Then when I see the winning go along with the culture and the commitment to winning and things like that, it feels better. Right now, if you sit there and you just beat up on somebody when it doesn't matter, that doesn't show me anything about your character, because when you had nothing to play for and now you show up, that just shows me that, I mean, you're a coward to me. And I know that's harsh, but you're not showing me anything. When it matters the most, show me who you are. When there's nothing for you to lose, you have nothing to prove to me. You've already shown me who you are. And as the great Maya Angelou said, when you showed it to me, I believed you the first time. So I'm going to end it there, but we will see y'all again next week. After another Cowboys loss, I will wear the hat again and play the video again. As long as they keep losing. But I agree with you, Rand. I'm waiting for Stephen A. Smith's production at the end of the year, because I definitely know what's coming. Yes, Kim, I'm gonna get out of here. Definitely a change needs to happen. Okay. All right, y'all. We will see y'all again next week. Rand, have a good one. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, brother.
All right. Y'all be good. We will see y'all next time. Peace.